What's going on, everyone? I am just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about Canada's self defense laws. Because this has actually been a big topic of discussion lately. Even here in the United States, we have heard about this. And I believe it all has to do with this news story that says in Canada, an Ontario man was charged after allegedly assaulting a home intruder. So, if I understand this correctly, this was an example in Canada where a criminal broke into somebody's home and then the homeowner either wanted to defend themselves or defend their home or whatever, but the homeowner was then charged for injuring the person breaking into their home. Am I understanding this correctly? Is that right? If that's the case, and again, I don't know all the details of this, but just at face value, if this is true, I just don't think that I understand Canada's self defense laws. I just don't understand what they are. I don't understand what you're supposed to do or what is considered reasonable. And again, like, I'm American, so what I'm used to here in the United States and the laws that we have are obviously very different from what's normal in Canada. But today, I just really wanted to learn more about this because honestly, I'm guessing as an American, I have some pretty big opinions on all of this. But let's take a look.
It happened in Lindsay, a town in Ontario's Kawartha Lakes region. Police say a man broke into an apartment on this street on Monday around 3 a.m.
Okay.
The apartment's resident woke up and responded with enough force that the intruder was airlifted to hospital in Toronto with what police call life-threatening injuries.
Wow. I mean, that is extreme. And it's not often where somebody breaks into a home and that person is the one that is then taken to the hospital. Usually you're afraid someone's breaking into your home and you are going to get hurt or you are going to get murdered, God forbid, or something. Obviously, that is the fear that most reasonable people would have when somebody breaks into your home, I would think. But in this scenario, I can see where this is a little strange because somebody broke into his home and he just beat the crap out of them. Um, but there's some like factors here I need to know about. Was the intruder armed? Is a big one. What exactly did the homeowner do? And was he defending himself? Was his family there? What? I just need some more details.
The alleged intruder faces 4 charges, including breaking and entering and possession of a weapon for a dangerous purpose.
Whoa. Okay. I mean, to me, he had a weapon. Somebody broke into this apartment. You know, I who knows what he was there to do? Maybe he was there to cook them like some Halloween cookies or something. But they had a weapon. At that point, for me, you know, I don't condone violence. I don't like it when people get hurt. I don't want human beings to get hurt or die. That's a bad thing. But this person broke into his home with a weapon. I don't know what the weapon was, but I don't even really care at that point. I don't even really care if they had a butter knife at that point. When, like, the fact that this person broke in with a weapon and then they got hurt by the homeowner, um, I'm having trouble finding sympathy for this person. That's my initial reaction.
The resident is charged with aggravated assault and assault with a weapon.
The resident has been charged. The homeowner was charged with assault and assault with a weapon. Wow. Geez, there's still more details I need to know, but that's strange to me. Again, all right, you can either look at this at face value, like pretend we're cavemen. We're back in the cavemen days. You have your cave, somebody comes to break into your cave and steal your bread or whatever, and you hit them with your club. Nothing, that's kind of what you would expect. That's the normal human interaction that you would expect. Is it a good situation? No, it's terrible. Just like this is a terrible situation, but the home intruder created this terrible situation. I think that's the crux of the matter. And again, I'm not a judge. And I shouldn't be making the laws. And maybe there's some reason for all this, and maybe Canada does certain things better or maybe worse. I don't know. I'm just going off what I think, based on how I was raised here in the United States. If somebody breaks into your home, they have violated, the code of society. If we're really breaking it down here, society depends on people trusting each other and not doing the. If you violate that and break into someone's home, all bets are off. That's kind of how I think. Anyway, let's keep going here. Maybe my thoughts will change on this.
And that is prompting strong reaction.
Did everyone hear about the story in Lindsay?
Ontario's premier weighs in.
I know if someone breaks into my house or someone else's, you're going to fight for your life. This guy has a weapon. You're going to use any force you possibly can.
Yeah. I mean, that's honestly what I was thinking. Like, what are the laws in Canada? I'm going to get to that. I have some video here talking about what the law is, because that's really important, because I do not understand what's going on. And in Canada, you guys don't even really have guns, right? Like, the more I think about this, it's like, here in America, if you break into someone's home, you can get shot, and they're probably not, that's gonna be okay. They're not gonna get charged for shooting a home invader. They might even get a congratulations, to be honest. In Canada, you're not even shooting each other. I don't know what weapons were involved in this case. Maybe there was a gun, but it's different in Canada with what you guys can even defend yourselves with. If someone breaks in, yeah, I would agree with him. Are you supposed to use proportional force, I think? That's a whole new can of worms. How the hell, in the heat of the moment, with your life at stake, maybe your children are in the house, you're supposed to evaluate exactly what threat you're under? And if you spend 3 seconds doing that, you might have a knife in your neck or something, Not to be too grotesque here, but that is the reality of what we're discussing. What is that about? Because obviously the homeowner is being charged for not responding appropriately? Now, don't get me wrong. Even in America, if someone breaks into your home and then runs out the door and they're running away, you are not allowed to shoot them in the back. That's not okay. There's a line, but you got to draw the line somewhere. Let's keep going here. I could just keep going on and on about this.
To protect your family.
Similar views on Lindsay's main street, not far from where the incident happened.
I think you should be able to use any force necessary to defend your home and your family.
Yeah, sure. You shouldn't be able to tie them up and torture them. We're not talking about that. We're talking about responding in the moment when seconds matter, when your life could be in danger. And don't tell me you're going to stand there and run the calculations over whether, okay, all right, Mr. Criminal, can you just wait for a sec? Can you just stand right there at the door? I need to evaluate, what weaponry you have. Can you, give me a list of the things you want do you intend to kill me or not? That's important. Like, you don't have time to do all that, you know? And that's a big factor. And again, so responding with like however you need to respond, I'm generally in favor of that, and most Americans are, and that's kind of how it goes here, where it just sounds like in Canada, I don't understand what you're supposed to do. And honestly, if in Canada, if you're scared to break the law by defending yourself, that's a big help to criminals, right? Criminals in Canada probably love it that Canadians have to be worried about assaulting criminals. Do you know what I mean?
Person should be able to, prevent the guy, because who knows what that perpetrator would have did to him.
It's self-defense, personally.
Yeah.
It kind of sucks a bit for him.
And that's important. That's for the criminal. I'm not heartless. Like, it's unfortunate this criminal, like, had to be airlifted on life support. But they, as far as I'm concerned, they did it to themselves, And I feel bad that a set of circumstances led them in their life to that moment where they had to break into someone's house and break the law. I feel bad that that's where their life led them. But at a certain point, you have to draw the line between is the safety of the criminal more important than the safety of the homeowner, the victim? I think that's the question here.
The blowback against the charges is so strong that the local police chief issued a statement calling the reaction unjust and inaccurate. While homeowners do have the right to protect themselves and their property, says the chief, the use of force must be reasonable given the circumstances.
Stop. Is that the actual law in Canada? Then I'm sorry, like, maybe there's something I'm missing here, but I just don't understand that. How the person breaking into your home in this example, they have committed an unreasonable action against you. Why are you then required to respond in a reasonable way? You didn't start this. Somebody put you in this situation. They broke the code of society. They committed this unreasonable action. And then you have to be the reasonable one. And again, there are lines to be drawn. You shouldn't be able to, like, capture them and chop their legs off and then turn them into the police. Nothing like sick like that. But I think everyone generally... Here's the thing. I don't even think this is that controversial. I think most reasonable people would agree that if someone breaks into your home, you should be allowed to respond in a way that protects yourself. It's as simple as that.
Likely the police believe there was excessive force in the circumstances.
This lawyer says Canada's legal system puts limits on self-defense.
Okay, so in this circumstance, I don't know what the homeowner did. They seem to be they're saying he responded in an unreasonable way. Maybe the homeowner like took a knife and like stabbed this guy 250 times. That after the like, it's kind of weird to break it down like this, but after you have subdued the assailant, how many stabs that requires? God forbid you're ever in this situation, but once they are subdued, and the threat is no longer there, maybe you had to stab a home intruder 4 times. You then should like not be just stabbing them in the neck 100 more times. I agree with that, but you should generally be able to do whatever you need to do to protect yourself and don't worry about the consequences, basically, within reason. Maybe that's kind of what Canada is going for, but it just seems like the law is too strict right now.
There has to be a defensive purpose to the actions. So it can't be for revenge or for believing this person deserves some sort of punishment or anything like that.
Sure. That's totally reasonable.
Police have not said whether the two men know each other. The man who was living in the apartment has been released. He's to appear in court on the charges, but no date has been set. Adrian?
Wow. Let's keep moving along here. Now I understand what happened a little better, although they were a bit vague about the details. The intruder had a weapon. The homeowner had a weapon. He assaulted the intruder. It's hard to even say, like, when you break into someone's home that you can be assaulted. That doesn't even really make sense to me. At that point, you're just, you kind of did that to yourself. And here in America, you know, our gun law, it's too easy to get a gun. I'll say that. It's not good. And we have a lot of gun crime, and we have school shootings. You know, we have horrible stuff because of how easy it is to get a gun. But the only thing, one of the only good things about it is probably people probably think twice in America about breaking into homes because you assume the homeowner is armed and that they're gonna get you. Like, that is the assumption. So I would think in America that really dissuades a lot of people, just the threat of people having guns and are going to use them. Whereas in Canada, it seems to be the opposite. Like, wouldn't criminals be kind of encouraged by this? This is a video of a Canadian police chief that kind of went viral talking about this.
In the unlikely event that you find yourself the victim of a home invasion, we are urging citizens not to take matters into their own hands. While we don't want homeowners to feel powerless,
He can't even say. He can't even speak. He can't even speak because he knows what he is saying is so ridiculous. That's what I think. He's stuttering because he doesn't even believe the words he is saying. I hope not. One more time.
we are
Oops.
urging citizens not to take matters into their own hands.
What the hell does that mean? Don't take matters into your own hands. Are you supposed to hide in the closet? I mean, I guess there are probably some examples, I'm sure, where people were broken into and they hid in the closet and everything was okay. I guess that's probably happened. That would be not taking it into your own hands. I mean, technically you are taking it into your own hands because you're doing something. You're going in the closet at least. Is he saying you should just like stand out in the kitchen and bake them cookies or something? What do you mean don't take it into your own hands?
While we don't want homeowners to feel powerless, we urge you to call 911 and do everything you can to keep yourself and loved ones safe.
That doesn't make sense. This is a contradictory. He just said you should do everything to make sure you and your family are safe. But you can't do everything according to the law. So what is it?
Until police arrive and be the best witness possible.
Witness.
This could mean locking yourself in a room away from the perpetrators, hiding, fleeing the home, but don't engage unless absolutely necessary.
But as it stands, we know the best defense for most people is to comply, as you've just heard, a number of safety recommendations.
What did he say? Comply? Your best option for most Canadians is to comply? That's like an insult. What does that mean? Comply? That's literally like going to get some people killed. If you comply, I mean, it's hard to say. I'm trying to be balanced on this. I'm trying to be open-minded. If you comply, I'm sure there is a certain percentage of people who comply with home invaders and everything's fine. And the home invader happens to like tie them up and put them in the basement, steal their television and leave. So complying I'm sure it's worked. It just leaves the power in the hands of the home invader. That's the whole problem. That's the crux of it. The power should be in the hands of the homeowner. That's what I think. So this is disturbing. I don't like in America, in your home, you don't have a duty to retreat. I know that's a thing that's different in some other countries. In most American states, you have no obligation to retreat in your own home. So you can stand your ground and use the force that you need. Basically, it's up to your discretion, which makes like me and most Americans, like we're all pretty happy about that. This is not like a debate in America. Like the laws around defending homes, it's never debated. Like Americans are generally pretty set and happy that like it's your house. You have no obligation to let anyone in. You have no obligation to retreat or run away. And it's America. You can own guns and you can do what you need to do to defend your... Maybe that's extreme. Maybe we are like an extreme case, but... And I'm sure obviously it inevitably leads to unnecessary deaths. And it leads to accidental deaths. And that's horrible. There's really no perfect answer to all this, but you got to go with something, I suppose. Yeah, it's unfortunate that we live in societies where we even have to make these decisions, but this whole Canadian situation has really got me wondering, like, what's the actual laws in Canada? Like, what? So I have a video here about the self-defense rules. What can Canadians legally do? I really want to know.
So here's the backstory, right? The intruder is facing a number of charges, but the home's resident is also facing charges of aggravated assault and assault with a weapon. Story obviously raising questions about how self-defense laws work in this country. With more on this, I'm joined by criminal defense lawyer Kim Schofield. It's good to have...
Yeah. So far, this video has been me, random American guy, ranting about how we do it in America. So I'm actually really curious, like what the law is in Canada, and maybe there's something we can learn from it, or maybe I'll just be like, nah, I don't like that. So let's see.
And everyone's talking about this, right?
Yes.
And we're a little bit unclear on the rules, it appears. Many people have expressed surprise, including myself, that the victim in a home invasion robbery is the one charged with aggravated assault. There are charges on both sides, but the victim is charged with aggravated assault.
So Canadians are surprised by this. I didn't know that. Canadians are surprised. Like, do Canadians just not really know the laws around this? Maybe this doesn't happen very often. Maybe this is like a rare scenario where the homeowner was charged. Because based on how it's been reported in the United States, it makes it sound like this is like really normal. So maybe that's been blown out of proportion.
That's surprising to you that we're surprised by this.
Well, it's not surprising that there are charges, because this is a situation where it's not just a self-defense. There was a knife involved, and the injuries were so serious that it resulted in the invader. And I know that it's a situation where you think you can do anything you want or anything to defend yourself, and that is true to a certain extent.
Okay, I get it. Yes. Like, I think you can do anything you need to do to subdue the home intruder. Whatever the hell you need to do to make sure you live, your family lives, whatever, do it. I'm sure there's something someone can come up with where, like, you shouldn't do that. Like, I was talking to a friend about like the morality of like, should a homeowner be able to set traps, like a trap around their windows and doors? Like if you step on the doormat, like a giant axe comes down and cuts you in half. Like, obviously, it's not good. You have to draw the line somewhere.
You can do anything that's reasonable in the circumstances.
I hate that word. I hate it. Reasonable. I don't like that part of the law. I don't like it. You need to do anything reasonable? How the hell Are you supposed to figure out what is reasonable when someone is broken your door down and staring you in the face and you have no freaking clue what's about to happen and if your life is about to end? How are you supposed to do anything reasonable in that circumstance?
Anything you can. So when Doug Ford speaks of, well, it's surprising that you can't do anything you can, it's really anything that's reasonable. And that's what the law is. And in this case, the police found that, at least on their investigation, it was not reasonable.
Let's talk about the knife, because court documents show that the resident had a knife.
Yes.
At what point does self-defense become...
Who had a knife?
That the resident...
The person... The homeowner had a knife, okay? Because it's Canada, and that's like, you guys only have so much. It's not like regular people own guns and stuff, so you have a knife, sure.
Yes.
Had a knife.
Yes.
At what point does self-defense become assault?
Okay, and this is always context-based. So, let's say you someone is in your home and you're walking by the kitchen. You don't have to think, oh, I'm going to get the dullest knife. I'm going to get the knife that will, in fact, inflict the least amount of harm. But you get a knife, you grab what's there, and you're confronted. So you defend yourself. So 1 stab, 2 stabs, who knows what the number. But let's say the person starts to run away. Are you able to then pursue and stab this person repeatedly in the back? I'm not saying that's what happened here, but there's a point. So unlike the American...
Okay. I thought, okay. I see what she's doing. I get it. There is kind of a way, I'll admit, there's kind of a way to be reasonable. And that would be like, once the threat is over, and you are 1000% sure the threat is over, then you have to be reasonable. That is when you have to start to be reasonable. And I totally agree with that.
Like the American situation where you can do anything to defend your home. In Canada, we do anything that's reasonable or proportionate in the circumstance.
Proportionate, I think I hate even more. I do. I hate proportionate response even more. Like, how... It doesn't even make sense to me when you think about it. Like, you have no idea what that person is thinking. If someone broke into your home and they're in the doorway, you don't know if they have a gun, you don't know if they have a baseball bat or hockey skates, for God's sake. You don't know. You don't know what they're there to do. You don't know if they're about to lunge forward at you and cut your head off. You don't know if they're about to say, get on the ground and give me all your jewelry, and then I'll leave. You don't know what they're about to do. And there is a chance they're about to pull out a gun and shoot you in the head, for example. There's a chance. Are Canadians, like, I don't know. I guess if you are willing to take that chance for the sake of protecting the home invader, that's your choice, sure. And that's in a way noble, I suppose, but not what I would do. Geez. But, it's good to talk about this, because it's not so black and white as I might have thought. It's not. There's nuance to it.
But we don't need to measure force, because it's impossible to measure force at a point when you're afraid, your adrenaline's high. So it really is context-based. Now, the police have discretion whether to charge or not. But in a situation like this, I think they're really saying, we'll just leave it up to the judge.
Is there a case here?
I think there's a case on both sides. Now, maybe once the Crown looks at it, they'll say, well, in light of these circumstances, we're not going to proceed. Because in this province, unlike other provinces, we have no pre-charge screening. We have post-charge screening. So the charge is laid, and then the Crown screens it to see if there's a reasonable prospect of...
Oh, I see. So just because this person was charged with assaulting the home invader, they haven't looked at it, or I don't know, maybe they have by now. I don't know how this ended or how far along they've gotten. They're going to take a look at this. The police have laid down charges maybe this guy stabbed the home invader in the head like 10 times, like unnecessarily or something, after the home invader was already running out the door. That's possible. It's possible. That would be unreasonable. And I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just, making scenarios here. So they still have to take, just because he was charged doesn't mean he's guilty. That's the thing. So, at face value, the whole thing sounded outrageous, especially for me as an American. If you know how we kind of do things in America, it's hard for us to wrap our minds around. God bless you guys for being so... It's actually kind of nice to see Canadians being very thoughtful about it. You guys clearly value human life. Whether you think it's a horrible person or a good person, you value human life, and that's very noble. And you definitely have to think hard about these things. But yeah, I've kind of said my thoughts on it, and it was really good to hear like kind of how Canada handles this and what Canadians are thinking a bit. And yeah, okay, I definitely understand a bit better now. So anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment, especially if you're Canadian and you have an opinion on the self-defense rules in Canada. That'd be really cool to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada and learning about Canadian things I've never seen before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.